Mr. Chung, people and families all across California are making big sacrifices to live here. Long commutes to work, working two jobs, going into debt to put their kids through college. In light of their sacrifices, I'm wondering, what is the biggest sacrifice you have made in your life?
Well, I'll tell you the greatest pain that I felt in my first week in office. My family overcame a lot of racism. We were the first Asian Pacific American family in our community in suburban Chicago. I remember the ugly racial taunts, go home chink, go home Jap, go home gook, ugly, just having to defend ourselves and not being treated as second-class citizens. I've given my life. I feel very passionate every day, very fortunate that I wake up and I get to serve the people of the state of California, an incredible privilege and honor. It's something I love. It's not the sacrifice. I just wish that, I could have done something more for my dad who left this earth, who had too early, who had dramatic health care issues. But basically, I lived my life in honor of my sister and dad, giving everything of, my very best to make sure that all Californians, my 8 godchildren, get the very best future possible.
Mr. Allen, biggest sacrifice you made in your life?
I'm actually engaged in it right now. The biggest sacrifice I ever did was running for political office. I can tell you, back in 2010 and 2011 as a business owner, I've been in business since '96, opened up my own company in 2001. A couple of associates invited me to some events, and so I went, and they were Democrat events, and I bought tickets to those events, just like the president did. But when I was there, I saw people like Gavin Newsom, and I heard the things that he was saying, and I said, you know what? This is why my parents have left the state. My brothers left the state. My best friend now lives in Texas, and my clients now live in 22 different states around the nation. I made it right there my job to fight for the people of California, to fight back against the California Democrats, and to truly take back California, which is what we're going to do right now in 2018.
Mr. Newsom, biggest sacrifice?
Yeah, I think public service is the biggest privilege of my life, hardly a sacrifice. It's a gift. If I look at my life, if I look back on my life, Chuck, honestly, if I do nothing else, if I could look back honestly and reflect upon it and say that I sacrificed everything for my 4 extraordinary kids, then it was a life worth living. And every single day I try to approximate the best father I possibly can be, the best husband I can be. My wife is here today. But to me, that should be all of our goal, ultimate sacrifice to take care of the next generation and to raise our kids to be healthy and strong.
Ms. Easton, 30 seconds.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. One of the best decisions I ever made was to be involved in public life. First as a planning commissioner, then as a city councilwoman, and then as a member of the legislature, and finally as a state constitutional officer. It's true that I made 2.5 times as much when I worked in the private sector. Yes, there are business women, too.
I know there are.
But
Thank you. I've got 3 of them in my family.
But in reality, I really do believe that it is about the joy and the sense of fulfillment and the sense of accomplishment that you can have in life. And I just hope many of the young people who are listening tonight will want to do public service, because it is really, you meet the nicest people.
Including everybody on this stage. Mr. Villaraigosa.
I too believe that public service is an honor and a privilege. I got involved at 15 years old as a community organizer. And I was gone a lot. I wasn't there for my mom. I wasn't there for my family in many ways. And I look back and I realized that, I should have made a lot more time. And if there was something that drove me, it was that I wanted to change the world. But I didn't understand enough that you start with your family.
And Mr. Cox, biggest sacrifice you made?
I don't look at any of the things that I've done in life as sacrifices. I built a business. I'm very proud of that. I've started charities. I've been very involved in my church. And what I'm doing now, I look at as a mission. I'm sick and tired of what the politicians have done to this state. They've mismanaged just about every aspect of life here. They've made it unaffordable. You go through the roads, the schools, the forests, the water system, the electricity. This state has been mismanaged. It's a wonderful state. I don't look at this as a sacrifice. I look at this as a mission and a choice that I want to get done.